Good morning, Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. Happy Memorial Day. First of all, I want to say thank you. Before we talk about Memorial Day, I want to memorialize, and the word memorial actually comes from to remember or to record. Well, I want to memorialize some of the experiences I had last week, not in detail, but with gratitude. I had the opportunity to spend last week in Baltimore. And what a wonderful experience with some incredibly wonderful people. And I just want to shout out to some of those. I had the opportunity to speak to the clients of a wonderful company in Baltimore, and I learned so much from them. I know I learned more from them than they learned from me many times, because when you're going with an attitude of I'm going to make my learning greater than the experience, it's amazing how much you can take out of it. I want to say thank you to Athena for your remarks and your comments about the ad. And you'll know what I'm talking about, but for those of you that don't, it's a story that's based upon the ad that impacted her life and changed the direction of her life forever, for the last 30 years. She wouldn't be where she's at today if it wasn't for that story. And by putting a handle on it, the ad, she's able to share it and then let other people learn from it what they will. And Bob, your story about the fire station, thank you for that. How meaningful that is and your emotion behind it to be able to share the fire station story with others. This concept of being able to capture the experiences of the past and put a handle on them and move them forward. I have to also say thank you to Tim and Diane for your hospitality and for allowing me to be a part of that and sharing your stories as well. And over, with some other clients and friends, Bo and Ro, thank you. Thank you for your caring advice, and thank you for allowing me to be able to spend some time with you. You helped make my week, and all of you helped make me better and stronger. But let's go back to that word memorial. We are celebrating today Memorial Day, a day that is actually given the name of Remember. So imagine if it was called Remember Day. If it was called Remember Day, would we do a better job of remembering why we have this day and why we've set it apart? It goes back to the 1860s. As early as 1860, many of the communities surrounding the Civil War on both sides of the fight would have what they called Decoration Day, where they would go out and decorate the plots of those that had given the ultimate sacrifice, their life for this country, their life for the freedom that we all fight for, that we all believe in, that this country is here. How can we remember that today? Thinking back, there's many stories. One in particular intrigues me, and it brings home the power of gratitude, if you can imagine. Imagine having a mass grave, and inside that mass grave are just randomly piled up 257 Union soldiers. Now also imagine the immense gratitude of the black people, the black former slaves in that community, for those soldiers that gave their ultimate life, paid the ultimate price. They gave their lives. Do you know what they did? They went out there and uncovered that grave. They spent 2 weeks removing every body, cleaning it off, and giving it its own grave. That was followed by a celebration of singing and marching, as over 2,800 children of the slaves led that parade of 10,000 people marching through the city and singing. And singing in gratitude. Now, I don't think that, people argue about where was the city that the first Memorial Day was celebrated. Doesn't matter. Does it matter? Here is one example in 1865 in Charleston, South Carolina, where these slaves, in their own way, created a memory or celebrated the memory in a way that they would never forget. What a great story about freedom and memory. Garfield probably summed it up best, President Garfield, James A. Garfield, in 1868 when he said, "We do not know one promise these men made, one pledge they gave, one word they spoke, but we do know they summed up and perfected by one supreme act the highest virtues of men and citizens. For love of country they accepted death and thus resolved all doubts and made immortal their patriotism and their virtue. Memorial Day. It's evolved more into where we remember not only those that have given their lives, it's evolved into those that have given their service and were willing to die for this country. My bonus dad, that's what I call my stepdad, of some almost 40 years. He went to war. My dad went to war and survived. But my bonus dad, in the next couple of weeks, because of an association, a charity called the Honor Flight Network, they're actually going to fly him and my brother back to Washington, D.C. to honor him, to keep the memory alive of those heroes that fought for and a good number of those who gave their lives for this country. I love the concept of memory, of Memorial Day. I love the concept that we teach in Empowered Wealth, that to preserve our memories of learnings from the experiences we've had in our past. That's so critical, to name them, brand them, put a handle on them so that you can pass them off to other people and especially to future generations, where with that story captured with the emotion, with one or two words, whether it's the ad or whether it's the fire station, it carries with it the emotion of those stories. Some of you will remember the story about whipped cream. I don't have to tell you the story, because if you remember the story about whipped cream and my mom saying, "Come here," it just takes a little bit of sweetness to offset that bitterness. You'll understand the power of stories. Have a wonderful Memorial Day with your family. Lori and I are going out. We're just getting ready to leave. We've got 9 hours of hiking today. We're getting ready for our Rim to Rim that's just coming up in about 3 weeks. And so we're looking forward to that. Next week we'll be in Orlando. I'll be coming to you from there, where we'll be at our Wacky Golf Tournament. It's not too late if you want to come. It's not too late if any of you want to be a Wacky Warrior. Just go to wackywarriors.org and you can see how you can become a Wacky Warrior with us. Thank you very much. Make this week a meaningful week. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.